let's go through the 6 steps. Step number 1, connect to your mission. In other words, connect to your overall philosophy, your sense of what your life is about, your vision for your life and how you see yourself, the kind of contribution, the kind of character, and the value system, hopefully centered upon principles. You connect to that first. Everything gets connected to that. You see, habit 2, begin with the end in mind, is the habit of personal leadership. It basically means to get a clear sense of what your life is about. Habit 3, you manage according to that leadership, according to that mission statement. That's why the first activity that you do is to connect to your mission. That's where you have the burning yes about what your life is about that gives you the courage to say no to quadrants 3 and 4. Particularly 3, because there's so much social value system driving quadrant 3, and it takes an enormous amount of courage. That's why you always want to review and connect to your mission. The very next step that you go into outlines your whole life around roles, which basically means relationships. Study the roles that you have in your life. Study what you put down. You probably put down the roles having to do with your family, the key roles that you have in your work. You may be a department head, you may be a manager, you may be a technician in a particular engineering department, you may be a member of an executive committee, you may be a CEO, but you also want to think about your social roles, your community roles. Notice that's the second activity. Then you'll notice you set up your goals around each of those roles. Quadrant 2. Quadrant 2. When you set up your roles and goals, you're identifying quadrant 2. Then you organize weekly. Why weekly? Why not daily? If you're into daily, what quadrant are you in? By definition, you're into quadrant 1. Because if you organize on a daily basis, you're dealing with the urgencies. The smallest unit of planning would be a week. And then you have to adapt on a daily basis, even on an hourly basis. On what basis do you adapt? On the basis of integrity. If you have educated your conscience into principles, you will have the inward sense. You'll adapt instantly. Your scheduling is very soft. You're very hard on being principle-centered, but your scheduling is soft. And people know it, and they respect it. And they will respect your time. You exercise integrity in the moment of choice, and then you evaluate. You stand back, reflect. How's it going? Roles, goals, execute around them. I go through the 6 steps. Connect to the mission, review roles, select goals, organize on a weekly basis, use integrity in the moment of choice, evaluate. Organize the whole week within the context of a longer-term plan, within the context of the mission. This is essentially the whole week. I can relax now because I know when I'm going to have my private date with my daughter, Jenny, this week. I know when I'm going to exercise. I know when I'm going to have an opportunity to go with my wife on this little Honda trail cycle that we go on almost every day of our life that I'm home, because I've scheduled it. If something more important comes up, that's fine, but I try to put the big rocks in first. I put the mission statement at the top, and then I just put the different roles. Then your life is balanced. See, most time management approaches teach prioritization. That's good. But what about balance? You don't want to prioritize yourself up a ladder of success leaning against the wrong wall. And you don't want to focus on schedules. It's on relationships. So all the roles involve relationships. And it's very personal. First role is the relationship to deity. It's my first and highest priority. Second, family. Third, neighbor in the large sense. I want to contribute in significant ways where there is nothing in it except that kind of service. And I'm sure many of you do. So any church work, any community service, citizenship work, and good causes would be under neighbor. Then chairman of a company, so I'm interested in preparing for our board of directors meeting. So I set down the goal of what kind of preparation so that we can make sure that material is sent out in time for people to prepare. Then I have writer, and then as a role as a friend. The point is, you organize around every role that you have, and you look on them as stewardships.